Welcome everyone to another old school time game review. This is what I want to talk about because I have been thinking about this game quite a lot lately. So let's talk about Condemned and the series. Now, Condemned series was a really amazing horror game back when the 360 first came out. The graphics at its time was mind-blowing for when it was out, with a crazy storyline and with good melee controls as well. And doing forensics in missions in the game, it needs to be talked about here in the channel. Because to me, at the end of the day, this game should have continued the story. Now, compared to all my other old school game reviews, I won't be breaking it out in sections, but my intake. So, here's Condemned 1. So Condemned 1 started with an SCU agent named Ethan Thomas. He and the other officers go on a murder to investigate a serial killer by the name of the Matchmaker. After they've collected evidence from the scene, one of the officers smells cigarettes, and upon going to the location, the suspect serial killer uses Ethan's gun and kills the police officers that was backing Ethan up, and then throws him out of a window. Hours later, you wake up in your living room with your father's friend, Malcolm Van Horn. Malcolm Van Horn also warns Ethan that he is now wanted for the deaths of 2 police officers who were shot with Ethan's gun. And through the game, you set off to find this killer that framed you and clear the name. But the thing is, upon the adventures of Ethan's experience, he also goes through a psychotic, crazy areas, which is really, really messed up. You'll experience so many crazy people, rioters, addicts, and of course, the other serial killers. Ethan goes through some messed up, dark places in the towns, and in places like an old abandoned shopping mall. Oh god, that was horrifying. But as Ethan's going through his journeys, he is also seeing other serial killers being murdered for some reason. Throughout the game, you end up finding out the motive of the killer that framed you is a serial killer hunter called Serial Killer X. Now, to me, the combat and the movement and the gameplay was very creative back then. You know, you can literally pick a pipe out of the wall or grab a bottle. It's like a 4x4 with nails on it, and just it was pretty cool with the combat, especially when you see crazy crackhead dudes or rioters coming in, and they also got their own little kind of AI stance of trying pretending to hit you but like actually hitting you. It was cool. It was a little bit intense as well sometimes when you've got like one guy in front of you and then another one behind you. And oh my god, let's talk about the scares. Bloody hell, I just couldn't. It was absolutely insane. And there is one I will never in my entire life forget. The one that made me really, really lose everything from my bowels. And also the time when this scared happened was when we was playing it over my friends at 12 o'clock. And after that scream, his mum and dad walked in thinking, did you just murder each other? And it was that goddamn school with that forensic bit.
File. It didn't come through properly, though. Can you take a close-up?
What did he say?
But the last time I actually played this game was, I would say 17 years old. I'm now 34 at this time of making this video. But now thinking about it, I would really love to play this game again. Because the fun fact about this game, it was also the dev team behind the Fear games. Such a good combo for horror games, I tell you that. But if you're a person looking for a horror game and want to go kind of looking for old school ones and you haven't had a chance, you need to go and check this out. Honestly, if you can get it, check it out. It's a great game with a cool little storyline and also just some good scare factors in.
That's me, Ethan Thomas. Drunk, tired, and pissed off. Why? Because this damn city's too fucking blind to see what's killing them. But I can. I've seen the unspeakable. They said my drinking was an issue. They said I left one too many bodies and one too many alleys. But everybody in this unit knows why they really brought me back.
Send me a picture of the body.
Because the rest of these jerks are too friggin' scared of getting killed.
Drop it!
You got a big problem. And no one on God's green earth is gonna like the way I solve it.
Thus peered Condemned 2 Bloodshot. My palms were sweaty, my legs were shaking with excitement, and I had a bit of a semi, I'll admit. After seeing that trailer, I just had to get it ASAP. Condemned 2. Condemned 2 was even more crazy, and with improved graphics from the first one. The 11 months after the first incident of Condemned 1, Ethan, who also cleared his name, he went from a well-dressed and respected agent to a completely messed up psychopath who was an alcoholic bum who does not care in the world with the events from the first one. I'm at least surprised he lost his marbles with the amount of crazy crap it's seen. But still suffering from hallucinations and his crazy psychotic mind. He is visited by an alcoholic demon of himself who taunts him and stalks him throughout the game. Not to mention the cult from the first one named Oro. I think I pronounced that right. But under the orders of Dr. Farrell, Ethan Thomas was recruited again. So back to the SCU to investigate a murder of one of his one-time mentor, Malcolm Van Horn, Ethan's father friend from the first one. Throughout the game, you'll find out that serial killer X, who from the previous one, is actually still alive, and Malcolm Van Horn healed him up after you shot him in the face. So this is where it gets more interesting throughout Ethan's story on the second one. Also, his parents being involved with the cult Oros and finding out that he is the only person that can kill these weird, crazy, mechanical metal cults. The thing is with this one, throughout the game of Ethan's new story, he's experiencing hallucinations that are even worse than before. But also later on with his whole parents, finding out he is a special person out of the old cults and stuff. The only person that can kill the Oros and face the cult. And the more deeper Ethan goes, the more you find out the cult even goes deeper than ever. Compared to the first one, I felt like the second one was a bit bland. Now don't get me wrong, it was really, really good. But compared to the first one, the scares were a little bit more mild, I gotta say. However, the combat was improved. Just like the old one, there was still some good messed up locations, like the building with the crackheads, to the weird lollipop doll lady thing that they just love to creep on you. The new feature they did was unique ways to kill your opponent when they were stunned. So anything you can see around the place, you can deep bit kill them with it. Like a door, smash his face in, put his face through a toilet, etc, etc. Also, finding alcohol in the game, as Ethan's an alcoholic bum, will make him more rage and crazy for a bit, which buffs you right up. It was yet another amazing series to the game, and I absolutely loved the story. But then I also felt like the second one was a little bit more shorter. And the nice thing is they did multiplayer, which surprisingly was really enjoyable. Because like you could be in this like house night, and then out of nowhere an online player will come as a rioter or a crazy dude with just a with a 4x4. It's so fun, it was. But the sad reality, they never made a second one. Every day I kept looking at the websites to see if there's going to be any links of a third one. But they never made it. I'll be honest with you, this is my thoughts. Like, it's not anyone else's, it's just my thought. I personally blame Warner Brothers. Because if you compare it to Condemned 2 and then the other Fears that didn't get a good reputation, and then you played Condemned 1 and the classic Fear, you'd see the difference when Warner Brothers really stepped in to back them up. It just wasn't, yeah. It wasn't kind of creative, if you get what I mean. So yeah, I blame Warner Brothers for that. But it's such a shame for no, like, third one. And hell, Fear as well. They're just going to be now in the graveyard of decent horror games. So that's my series talk on the Condemned. I do hope you enjoyed this video. This is a little bit different from what I normally do, but I had to like talk about it because this game's beautiful. It was really fun. I loved every minute of it back then. And I kind of want to play it. So if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe. Please put a comment down and tell me what your next horror game you'd want to play back in the old school days. And yeah, I just do hope you enjoyed this. You guys take care and have a wonderful night or day.